Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. I feel like I look a little bit silly with these clips already in my hair, but we are diving straight on in today to all of the new makeup. Now, some of these things I have tested before on camera obviously, so I will link any appropriate videos as we go through, but some of these things are completely brand spanking new. We've got Collection, we've got Milani, Beauty Crop, Profusion, MUA, ELF. We've got so much new makeup and I am so excited to get it all onto my face today. Just a little reminder, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you are new here, I would love it if you would subscribe down below. I am always talking about cruelty-free makeup and I'm always talking about affordable makeup, so hit that subscribe button if that's the sort of content that you are into as well. But let's prime the Collection Power Hold Gripping Gel Primer. I have used this so many times. I have done a first impression. I have done a comparison between this one and the ELF one. There have just been so many videos, including this primer recently, and I am thrilled with it. Honestly, every time I use it, I have a fantastic base day. So obviously I'm using it again. So I'm just gonna smooth that all over my face and obviously turn myself into a little bit of a tomato in the process, but I just love how my skin feels after I've used this. Obviously it's not gonna look any different really, like my skin's not gonna look any different now from how it did just then, because it is just like a clear grippy primer, but the way that it makes my makeup last and the way that my base, like my foundation and everything, goes on over the top is absolutely fantastic. I really have been loving it. So whilst that's setting, I'm gonna do a little mix for my foundation today, which we all know I mix my foundation pretty much every single day. I will mix something in, or I'll do a little concoction of something for my foundation, and today it's these ones. So this is the Glow Hub Baby Beam Glowy Primer, and I'm going to mix this into my foundation because when I tested this I loved it, truly did, but I'm interested to see, so I haven't done it before, I'm interested to see how it's going to mix into a foundation, because when I've done this before I have always done it with a very sort of liquidy primer, and this one is a lot firmer. It's very much more like the consistency of a foundation. It feels that way, it looks that way, but as you blend it out like on your skin, it does. So it is a very sheer sort of wash of glow. So I'm going to take that much of that and the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation, and I'm just going to do one pump because this is very full coverage, so I don't need a lot of it, and I'm just going to mix these in on the back of my hand to see. Like I say, I don't know if these are going to mix, I might have to find something else, but I just want to see if I can dial down the coverage of that foundation a little bit, because it is a lot, and like add a little bit of a glow, because that's what I like, that's what I like my base to look like. I do feel like that's mixing in really nicely, but let's put it on and see. Okay, so that is all of that product dotted all over, and let's see how this blends with a sponge at first. This is my preferred way of blending out foundation, so let's see. Okay, I feel like that's blended out really nicely. Obviously, I've mixed in like a glowy primer into a hydrating foundation. So although that foundation is, I feel like, quite a matte, sort of natural matte coverage, adding in that glowy primer has really done something for my skin. I love having a really glowy, fresh base. That is like my preference. That is how I like my base makeup to look, and I feel like that combination is beautiful. I did take it over my eyes a little bit because the coverage in that foundation is really great. I do just want to sort of lighten and brighten a little bit around my eyes, so I'm going in with the Collection Lasting Perfection Hydrating Concealer in 4 Extra Fair. Not a new product at all. A very, very old product. I'm just going to put a little bit around my eyes. Okay, so that is the concealer all blended in. I am thrilled with how that base is looking. It looks really sort of softly glowy, like my skin is actually hydrated, which it definitely isn't. I haven't been drinking enough water recently. It's been a whole struggle, so I'm gonna quickly just go off and do my brows. I'm like looking in my little tub here. What am I gonna use? I will use the Catrice eyebrow stylist pencil and the e.l.f. Wow Brow. So I'll be right back when I've got some brows on my head. Okay, so brows are on, and now I'm trying to figure out what order it is best to go in now. Let me know what order you would do the following products in. So I've got a powder bronzer, a cream blush, a cream liquid highlight, and then a blurring setting powder. What order would you do these in? Because I'm thinking I need to just do it in the normal, like the order that I would do my base product normally, which is like bronzer, blush, highlight, then setting. But then I'm thinking like there's creams in there and that's throwing me off. Let me know. What order would you do these in? I'm going to just go in with the bronzer powder. So this is the Milani Baked Bronzer in 05 Soleil. Now I think they only had 2 shades of this on the Superdrug Boots website, wherever I bought this. They only had 2 shades. I think I got the lightest one, but then looking at this now, that does not look like the lightest bronzer shade. I'm going to use it anyway. So I've got a Real Techniques blush brush. Oh, and that is very powdery. Can you see that? Oh goodness. And I know that this is going to be like a shimmery bronzer. That's absolutely what I want. Adding in all of the glow. And then I'm going to use the also Milani setting powder that's meant to be like a blurring, very sort of soft focus setting powder. So that colour looks really nice actually. Obviously only across my forehead there, but it looks like a really great, very warm colour. I really like that. It is very, very pigmented though. You need the tiniest amount on your brush. I think I probably got a little bit too much there. That's looking a little bit heavy. Let me blend. I feel like the tone of that bronzer is almost looking a little bit blushy on my skin. Like, I don't necessarily feel like I have to go in with blush now. Obviously I'm going to. Obviously I'm going to. But that looks so juicy on the cheeks, and that colour is absolutely beautiful. I mean, granted, I did take it sort of higher than I maybe normally would because it's more of that bronzer tone, and because I definitely got too much on my brush as I was blending that out on my cheeks. But I feel like that colour is so beautiful. And yeah, I have gone crazy with the bronzer, but I just love that. And it's not chunky or glittery. I just feel like that looks so nice and natural on the skin. Like, obviously it's giving my skin a glow. Like, you can see that it's doing that. I absolutely love that. I knew I would, because all of the Milani like face powders and stuff that I've used, I just instantly become obsessed with, and that one is no different. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm thrilled. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that blush. Again, I've got a full video testing all of these glow hub bits, so I have already tested this. I'm going to just take it on my brush so that I can be a little bit more precise with it. But it is quite pigmented, so I just want a little bit to sort of pink up that bronzer a little bit, and to add a little bit of a flush to the cheeks above the bronzer that I've already got on. And when I tested this blush out for the very first time, again I'll link that video if you want to see it, when I very first tested this I remember saying it's like the Cold Girl makeup, it's giving that vibe, and it's definitely giving that even with this very intense amount of bronzer that I've got on. It's still giving me that glowy, fresh face, cold vibe. Did I even say what that blush was? I don't think I did. It's the Glow Hub Buff Blush in the shade Pinched. Honestly, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just getting so excited about blush. So I actually think I'm going to save the highlight for the end, and I might just like tap a little bit over the top, because I do feel like that blush is giving me a little bit of a glow. Obviously the bronzer is glowy anyway, but I do feel like I just want to see how all of this like settles down and sinks in. But I am going to go in with the setting powder at this stage, because I just feel like I need a little bit sort of right in here. And the amount of videos that I have seen on Instagram for this powder since I bought it, I am so excited to try it. It's the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Powder. Now I am so incredibly picky with powders. I have very, very dry sort of, I don't want to say textured skin because it's not like I have acne, but because my skin is so dry it's like flaky all over the place, and I am so picky with powders for that reason. But I've heard such great things about this one that I'm very, very excited. So if I just show you up close, obviously I took the screw lid off. It's got one of these little sifters so you don't lose all of your product. This is my favourite packaging for a loose powder like this. I absolutely love it when they come in little compacts like this. And I'm going to take a powder puff. I'm going to dip it into there. That gets you won't be able to see, but it gets a lot of product on there. And then I'm just gonna like tap it off on the lid, tap it into the puff a little bit, and then let's just see. So you can see sort of here where it's very glowy. Obviously I've got very glowy sort of hydrating products on, that's what I like, but I do just want to sort of mattify right in this area. So let's see in real time how this goes. I'm scared but also excited. I think I love it. I think that that's fantastic. Let me look up close. Let me look up really close. Yeah, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. In fact, that might even be better than my Revolution IRL one, which has been my favourite and basically the only loose powder that I've used. Well, it is the only loose powder that I've used in months, if not all year. I'm so picky with powders, and this one is just doing it for me. So it's mattifying, it's blurring, but my skin still looks so juicy and so fresh. Like even here where I've like put the powder, it still looks really nice and like the glow is still there underneath. So this is really like, I feel like, I'm using my words wisely, I feel like this is going to make my makeup last really, really nicely all day, because it's still got that glow. I can see where the glow is, but it still feels really nice and set. I love this powder. So what I am going to do is, because where I've put that powder I do feel like it's sort of knocked back my blush a little bit, so I'm just going to go in over the top of my blush and powder and then just go in with a little bit more of the blush because I want to see how this works over powder. Yep, that still looks beautiful, and that's sort of bringing back even more of that beautiful glow. I already loved this. I already loved the way that it made my skin look. I already loved the colour, how easy it is to blend, all of the things. But knowing that I can put it on over the top of powder, just to really like intensify the colour, to build it up, because we all know, if you've seen any of my videos then you will know, often I get to the end and I'm like, I just need a little bit more blush, or I just need a little bit more bronzer. So at least I know with this one I can go in with a cream that's in a stick and I can add more blush if I need it, because sometimes you can't. Sometimes it will just take off all of the like foundation and whatever you've got on underneath. I love that. I am thrilled with how my base is looking. What a good makeup day. So for my eyes, I'm just getting into the plastic cover of the eyeshadow palette that I want to use. This is the new from Profusion Mountain Trail 5 shade palette. I picked up every single shade of these recently, and as you can see, I haven't tried this one yet, but as you're seeing this, I think you will have already seen me do a full video where I am swatching every single one of these. There's a load. I'm gonna swatch them all and like show you looks with some of the palettes, so you probably will have already seen like a deep dive into some of these, but this is the one that I'm going to be using today because I thought that this purple shade, Alpine, matched my dress really nicely. So I'm going to be doing something sort of purpley and bluey. I don't really know yet, but what I do know is that I want to top it with this Profusion Duochrome liner. This is in the shade Cosmic Spirit, and I haven't actually put this on my eyes before yet, but it's a beautiful, from like the swatches that I've done of this product, it's like a beautiful purple to blue shift. So what I'm wanting to do is just something quite simple, like really, with the eyeshadow, probably just some sort of purpley bluey based smoky eye, and then pop this all over and blend it in a little bit. So I'm going to use an eyeshadow primer today. I will use the Collection Power Hold Gripping Primer. I'll just pop a little bit of this on before I start, so that we're giving those eyeshadows a really nice grippy base. So that is the eyeshadow primer all blended out, and now we can get into the eyeshadow palette. So I think I'm going to go in with Grounded, the more browny, it's almost like a khaki shade, that one. It's really pretty. I'm going to dip into that with a small fluffy brush, and I'm just going to get my mirror and I'm going to be quite precise with this, sort of through my crease. Okay, I actually feel like that colour is beautiful. It's like a warm greeny brown, and I've managed to get that really quite dark on like the outer corner. I sort of just used this sort of motion you know, just like dragging it down into my lash line, and I actually love the way that that looks just by itself. Do I even add purple? I feel like we need to. I'm wearing purple. I feel like I need to add just a little bit. So I'm going to go in with a bigger fluffy brush, and I'm just going to dip very lightly into Alpine. Obviously this is quite dark, so I don't want this to take over that beautiful colour that I've already got on, but I feel like it would be rude to not do a little nod to the purple dress whilst I'm wearing it. So again, I feel like that purple has just blended into that first more browny shade so nicely. I do still feel like I'm getting that depth from that first shade, but it's definitely going a little bit more purpley now. So now I'm trying to decide, do I want a bit of that blue? I might just do a little bit, just a little bit right on the end of my brush, through sort of the crease, like above the pupil. I'm gonna like tap off the brush on my hand. I don't want too much. I don't really know how much that's adding, but just put a little bit on, sort of through the crease, a little bit on that eye, just because I wanted to. So I'm happy with how all of that's looking. It suddenly seemed to have gotten very dark and very smoky, but I absolutely do not mind that. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of that Duochrome liner. I'm going to get a brush, because the way that I've really been enjoying wearing these and like applying them is actually taking the product off the brush onto more of a fluffy brush, so that I can sort of disperse it across my eye quite easily. So I'm just taking the product onto a small, still quite a small brush, but a bit fluffier, whereas this just comes with like a liner. Obviously it's a liner, so it does just come with a brush like that. I do want to be able to just tap it loosely sort of across my eye and disperse the product a little bit further and still get that duochrome shift from it. It is safe to say I was not planning on going this glam in today's video, but here we are. Let me zoom you in so that you can see this beautiful eyeliner as eyeshadow. So if I try and keep really still so that this actually stays focused on me, I really hope you can see the incredible shift on that eyeshadow. It's almost like purple to pink, but it's got some green in there. It's absolutely beautiful, and I do feel like it's gone over the top of those like purpley eyeshadows really nicely. And I love just taking, so this is the brush that I use, it's just a small sort of brush, to really like disperse the shimmers. I feel like that looks so beautiful, and like it's colourful, yeah, it is still a colour, but I do feel like purples are still quite wearable, and I absolutely love that liner as an eyeshadow. So I'm going to go ahead and do liner and lashes. I'm going to use the MUA Intense Colour Liquid Eyeliner in the shade Cobalt, which incidentally matches my nails quite nicely, which wasn't planned. And then I'm going to use the 17 Maximum Curl Mascara, so I will be right back once I've done that whole step. Okay, so that is the eye look done. I do feel like that liner is perhaps a little bit more blue than what I was hoping it would be, or expecting it to be. It is very colourful looking now, like the blue liner with the purple smoky eye with that duochrome across the lid. It's looking a little bit much, but I don't mind that. So I'm going to go in now with the new e.l.f. lip liners. Again, I've got a whole video swatching these and applying every single one. Another one that I will leave linked for you. So I'm using the shade Truth or Bear, which I do believe is the lightest shade, and I'm just overlining ever so slightly, and I'm just scribbling in the lips a little bit with that so that I've got the colour sort of on the lips a little bit. And then I'm going in with the new, never tried this before, MUA Glazed Tinted Lip Gloss. So that's what that looks like. I do believe Glazed is the shade. I'm not exactly sure. It's just got a regular lip gloss sort of doe foot wand. Smells like all of the MUA glosses, sort of chocolatey vanilla-y scent. Ooh, that's lovely. That's a lot more pigmented than what I was expecting it to be. Let me just swatch that on the back of my hand, because I thought that that was just going to be, I was wrong. I thought that it was going to be more of like a clear sort of wash of a glossy colour, but it's not. That is a pigmented gloss. I love that colour. Feels really nice as well. On the lips, obviously this time of year, need all of the hydration I can get my hands on. So that is the finished look, and I think once I get all of these clips out I'm going to want a little bit more bronzer. I'm just gonna guess. Yeah, I do feel like just a tiny little bit more of that Milani bronzer will finish this off nicely. Oh, and I've got that, no, I take it back, I've got that highlight. I do need to try that because I have had it sitting in my, I've got a little tub that I keep just down here of like new makeup, and I've had it in there for months. I need to try that today. So let me just again get this out of all of the packaging. It's the Beauty Crop Glow Milk Liquid Highlighter in the shade Pear Pressure. So, oh, that is a beautiful champagne-y shade. So much packaging. I never know with a product like this. I mean, I assume it's got a pump like the other ones. Yeah, it's got a little pump. So I'm gonna like put a pump of this on the back of my hand. I might even take it on my sponge to apply it. Let's see. It feels very liquidy. Like I can hear that like ball bearing shaking around inside of there to mix the product in together. That colour is beautiful. That's going to be so incredibly intense. Okay, I might just take this on my finger. Oh my goodness, that has just blended into my skin like absolutely nothing, but it's added such an incredible glow. Oh my goodness, I love that. My problem sometimes with these more like liquidy highlighters is that they set before you get a chance to like blend them in, but I feel like this one hasn't. Like even that I had on the back of my hand there is still like completely blendable, and obviously this is going over the top of everything. It is going over the top of all of that powder that I had on, and the blush and the bronzer, concealer, like everything is going on, and that's going over the top so nicely. That just looks wet on the skin. I absolutely love that. I do feel like I've probably just put a little bit too much down my nose there, but I do really enjoy a very blinding highlight, so I don't mind that at all. Oh my goodness, I'm sad that it's taken me so long to try that because I absolutely love that. The only thing that I find with these sort of pumpy bottles from the Beauty Crop and other places as well is I'm never going to use a full pump of that highlighter. Like I just wiped away most of what I got on my hand there, so it is sort of quite wasteful, but that colour is incredible. I am just going to tap over with my blush brush so that it blends it in really nicely with that blush that I already had on. That has just finished it off really nicely. I feel like that little bit of highlight was definitely what I was missing. This is 100% like a party look for me, especially with that glowy highlight. That was the cherry on top of the cake there. So let me know, have you picked up any of these new makeup bits as well, or if there's any other new releases that you would want to see reviewed here, then do let me know. If you have made it to the very end of this video, because I've been filming for nearly an hour and a half and this is probably going to be quite a long video, so if you've made it to the very end, thank you so much for watching. Please give this a big thumbs up, leave me a lovely little comment down below, and until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.